Hello, hello. I'm Terry Hartley at Rustic Barn Cards. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the United States. I'm glad you're here. Today, I'm going to be making a card using the Peaceful Cabin. I'm going to do a little embossing also. And I'm going to use the bundle, and that's the stamp set, as well as the dies that come with, or you can purchase the bundle. You can also buy the dies and the stamp set separately, or you can save 10% and buy them together as a bundle. So we are going to use this die that cuts out the cabin. We're also going to use the die for the trees. And that is all we're going to use, although we have a die for the fence, more detail for the cabin, some extra trees, the little fox, and we can also cut them out separately or use this where it has a layer of snow. So a lot of really great, and some snowflakes, a lot of great dies in this cabin die set. So let me lay that aside. And really quick, before we start stamping, I wanted just to let you know, to remind you that celebration is going on now through the end of September. So we have less than a month of celebration. So for every $50 purchase, you are able to choose a free item out of the celebration catalog. So if you choose, if you purchase $200, place a $200 order, then you can have 4 $50 items free. Although there are some $100 choices too that you can choose. If you so if you placed a $200 order, you could have 2 $100 free gifts, or 4 $50, or you could combine and have 1 $100 and 2 $50. So what I'm trying to say is, place an order for at least $50 and you get a free gift from the celebration. And then this is also a perfect time to join. So I would love for you to join Rustic Barn Cards, Rustic Barn Stampers. That is my name of my team. And you can join and be a discount shopper. You don't have to sell. So it's awesome because you can save 20%. And if you're like me, that is great, because I like to save money. And you can call me if you have more information. And you get to choose of your starter kit. You can choose $125 worth of product. Plus, during celebration, you also get to choose a free bundle. You also will receive a paper pumpkin kit. So you will end up with over $200 worth of product, and you'll pay $99 plus free shipping. So again, you can reach out to me and be glad to talk to you if you have any questions. And you have 12 different bundles you can choose from. And remember, a bundle is a stamp set and dies, or a stamp set and punch. And then right now, through September 15th, I'm having online class, or you can think of it as an ordering special, because when you place an online order with me for $50, then, and use this host code, you will receive a free card kit for these 3 cards. So you'll receive in the mail a free card packet, including the cardstock, enough ribbon to make the cards, and die cutouts. And I am using the Peaceful Cabin bundle for these cards, and I'm making a card today from this set, but it won't be one of the cards. So just a sneak peek, here's one of the cards that I will be sending if you place an order with me. And I'm already making up, getting some of the packets ready, and so you'll have the die cut out, the embossing done, but you'll have to do all of the stamping. Okay, so again, I'll have the link below so you can jump over to my shop and place an order, and make sure you use that host code. Let's start stamping. Our card base is going to be basic white. It's So I'm going to lay that aside. And we're going to be using crumb cake and mossy metal for our ink, and some Versamark because we're going to be doing a little bit of embossing today. And I'm also going to be bringing in this punch is from the Evergreen Elegance, which is in the annual catalog. But I'm going to be using this for my card today and show you a couple little tricks about it. So I'm going to bring in just a scrap of basic white. It's 5 by 5. I'm going to go ahead and stamp my cabin. And I already have my cabin mounted on my block. So we will ink this up in crumb cake. And then I want to have some snow down below, so I'm going to set this over to the side, just kind of where I want it, just a little bit. And then press down really, really well. Close this up. Then I'm going to bring in my die, and I'm going to place it right over here. And then I like to put some sticky tabs just to make sure it doesn't move when I die cut it using the cut and emboss machine. And then I'm going to go ahead and run this through. So I've run it through. I'm going to go ahead and take off the sticky notes, the little tags. And then here we have our piece. I'm going to go ahead and just trim this down just a little bit for our card. I trim this down to this basic white is 1 3/4, and the length is 5, which is what I had here on this card, but I wanted it to be not quite as wide. So I cut some off the bottom, trying to say, because so this is 1 3/4. Let me double check. Yes, it's almost 2 inches, not quite. So 1 3/4. Just lay that aside and going to continue on. I'm going to bring in some basic white cardstock. We're going to use mossy metal. And I already have my pine trees on the block. We're going to ink this up. And then I'm going to stamp. I don't need a lot of width underneath the trees, so I'm going to stamp over to the left because I do want the snow to kind of continue on, or for it'll look like snow. So we'll bring in our die and we'll set that right here. But see how this goes a little further? That's why I wanted my trees over on the left, so I can go ahead and show the illusion of snow. And I'll run this through the die cutting machine. Okay, I've done that. We'll take off the little tags. And then here you may need to take your snips, and we can just lay this aside. And now we're going to stamp it in Versamark, our pine trees, and we're going to do a little embossing. So I'm going to bring in some basic white, our Versamark, and this is a little embossing buddy, and we used to sell this, but you can buy an embossing buddy at any craft store. You can also use a dryer sheet. It just kind of helps with the static, make sure that it's clean and everything. So I'll bring in my trees. going to apply it this way. Either way is fine. I mean, I could also put the tree down, but I wanted to make sure that I had plenty of Versamark. So again, I'm going to place it over on the left. And then I want to make sure I have even pressure. And straight up. But I do need to clean my stamp because you don't want to leave the Versamark on your stamp. I'll close this up. Store it upside down. And we're going to use silver. That's silver metallic embossing powder. So this is a large, there's several trees. I'm going to start right at the smaller one right here, and then I want to make sure that I have it covered good. Then I'm just going to dump that in and then flick it and turn it over. And that looks good. Sometimes if you have a little embossing powder where you don't want it to be, you can take a little brush and brush it off. And then I want to make sure I get all my embossing powder back in my container. And you can even knock quite a bit off on the spoon that you're using. And we'll lay this aside because we can use this later. And then I'm going to bring in, I just use a little clothespin. Now I am using the Basic White Thick cardstock. I like that, especially when I'm using embossing powder. So I'm going to bring in the heat tool. It's going to be a little bit loud. And then we'll watch for the magic. So I did let it heat up about 10 seconds. And I hope that you'll be able to see. And it's just starting at the top of the pine tree, of the smaller one. And I'm working my way down. I just love it to emboss. If you haven't tried it before, give it a try. It adds to your card. And then as soon as it is embossed, you can stop. Can you see, isn't that pretty? It just shimmers. And I've cut out the embossed pine trees with the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, just like I did the mossy meadow pine trees. I'm going to bring in mossy meadow cardstock 2 inches wide. It can be any length that you want. And I'm going to bring in this punch. And first of all, you know, our punches, they do lock. So I actually was trying to use this when it was locked and then realized it. So you want this pressed up. Most of our punches, when you lock it, you can tell because it's close, it closes. But this one was in the lock position even though it was open a little bit. So anyway, to make sure that your this piece here is up. And then you're going to place your cardstock. Felt like I had a piece of cardstock in there, and I got it out. So we're going to place your cardstock in here, and thanks to Donna Gray, I know how to use these type of punches. And so you can see I have that lined up. Make sure right there at the edge. And then go ahead and press. And then you're going to turn this over. And you have your trees. So then you're going to place your cardstock back in. Okay, you're going to take your cardstock and you're going to place it this way. I had it on the wrong side. So you're going to place it so it's on the left-hand side. And you can see these. So you're going to line up first one right up with here. Like that. Make sure this is down. Line that up. And then you're going to go ahead and punch again. And I have a little arthritis in my hands. It's a little bit tricky for me, so I have to lay it on the table. Then you're going to go ahead and slide it over. And again, line the next three up. And then I'm just going to place it on the table to do this. And then again, slide that over. So they're covering the next three pines. Press down. And you just continue. And then you have this beautiful row of pine trees. So it's pretty awesome, isn't it? So I have that. Let's get rid of this trash. And then I also did the same with our silver. So isn't that pretty? So we have a green and the silver. So I think it's time to put our card together. So I'm going to bring in our basic white. And I'm bringing in some Designer Series paper. This is called Heartwarming Hugs. It's in the mini catalog. We had it in our catalog last year, so it's a returning. This is the opposite side. We're going to use this side. But before I add this, actually, I'm ready to add this now. So we're going to go ahead and adhere this onto our card. I've added the adhesive. So I'll go ahead and place this. All the measurements will be on my blog at rusticbarncards.com. And then I am bringing in basic white. And I'm going to add a layer on top of the Designer Series paper. I'm getting ahead of myself. Actually, we need to stamp our sentiment. So we're going to use the Mossy Meadow. And I'm going to bring in For You. And we're going to stamp that right up in the right-hand corner. Now I can add it to the front of my card. So I added the adhesive. I'll go ahead and place this in the middle of our front of our card. And then we are going to bring in all of our pieces, our cabin, our trees, and we will put this card together. So I'm going to place the cabin first, and I'm going to place it all the way down at the bottom. And it looks like I'll need to trim just a little bit off here to make it even. So let me go do that. And one way you can do this, you can turn it over on the back and line it up right here. And then we can just take a pencil, make a little mark, and then go ahead and we know how much we need to trim off. So now it fits on here fine. I probably will bring it down so I have more room for my trees behind there. So this is going to fit. Okay, now let's go ahead and line up the mossy meadow pine trees. And yes, it's too long here. So we're going to place this down here where we want it. And get this lined up. And again, I don't want to mark in the front because I might, the mark may show, although I could easily erase that mark. But I'm going to turn it upside down and lay it across like this. And then just put a little mark right there and then go use my trimmer, my paper trimmer, and cut that. So everything is trimmed. So first thing I'm going to do is to lay my cabin here. I'm not ready to adhere this yet, but I want to get my pine trees where I want them to go, because I want to show a little bit of like a layer of snow here, but yet I want the for you to be able to be seen. So that looks about right. So I'll move the cabin, and I'm just going to use a pencil, and because this is going to be covered up, so I'm just going to do a little line right there, so I can turn this over and go ahead and add my adhesive. And we'll get it lined up on the left. And scoot that over. There we go. And then I'm going to do the same with the silver. And then with the silver again, I'm going to see how I want it lined up. So I want this pine tree to show some. And that looks good. So again, I'm going to have to trim over here on the side because I've changed it a little bit where I want it to be. So I'll go trim that. So that looks good. We've cut this end off, and it's going to be even over here. So I'm going to add my adhesive. And now I'm going to pop the cabin up on dimensionals. So it's like it's sitting a little bit away from the pine trees. So I'm going to turn this over and do that now. Yes, I've added several dimensionals. You may not need that many, but you know me, I like dimensionals. So I am going to bring this down. And get it straight. And add it to our card. There we go. All right, it's taking shape. Now we have these beautiful trees. And I am going to put this layer of silver. It's going to go from over here on to the green layer, or the mossy meadow layer, over to this edge here. So I am going to take my snips, and we are going to, right in the middle of this tree. So we'll probably just go ahead. That doesn't really look right, does it? So we'll just snip off. And then I'm going to go adhere this at the bottom. So I'm going to lay this right here. And then I'm going to place this up just a little bit. So I'm going to leave a little white underneath. Set that about right here. Press that down. And then we're going to add our mossy metal strip. And we can decide how we want it to be. So it's going to go right down here. So that way you can see the mossy meadow and you can see the silver through there. Isn't that pretty? So let me add this. So I have decided we're going to pop this mossy metal pine trees. So I've used the mini dimensionals. We're going to turn that over. I'm going to line this piece up right here to the edge of the basic white. And then I put 2 minis on each end of the pine trees, the larger ones here, and then just put 1 on each of the others. And then let's add a little bling. I'm going to switch, bring in my Take Your Pick tool, use a spatula. And I'm going to place one right here. Another right there. And pick up one more. And place it right there. So here's our card for today for you. Let me know if you like this card. Again, I will have all the measurements on my blog at rusticbarncards.com. Just go there and click on blog. Please subscribe by clicking that subscribe button down below. Thank you for watching. Don't forget my ordering special. If you place an order with me of $50 through the 15th, not only do you receive a free celebration item, but also I will send you a card packet for 3 cards. And it is using the Peaceful Cabin stamp set that I used today. This is not one of the 3 cards, but you will receive 3 different cards and one of 3 designs. So again, thank you for watching and have a great day. I'm Terry Hartley at Rustic Barn Cards.